So the Chiefs had the opportunity to make a move to strengthen their offense, and they did it, signing a veteran to add depth along the offensive line. So I've got to talk about that. Some key players being ruled out for this upcoming game as KC stays conservative on their timeline to return. Look at this Panthers game via a preview and prediction and more. But first, how about those? First up, I shared last week about how the homes of both Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce were burglarized within 24 hours of each other. This happened back around the time KC played the Saints on Monday Night Football. Mahomes' house was specifically reportedly broken into on October 6th, with the incident being reported to the police around midnight. Then on October 7th, when the Chiefs actually took on the Saints at Arrowhead for that Monday Night Football matchup, Kelce's house was broken into around 7:33 p.m., right around kickoff. Well, allegedly $20,000 in cash was taken and his back door was damaged. It gets really insane, though. This was seemingly not a random robbery of both of these guys, but a targeted string of burglaries that have happened around the U.S. Apparently, the FBI believes a series of high-profile burglaries involving homes of professional athletes could be tied to a South American crime syndicate. And while this seems straight out of the movies, Tom Pelissero of NFL Network reported yesterday that a source familiar with the situation said, "It's legit. It's a transnational crime ring, and over the last few weeks, they've focused on NBA and NFL players, and it's all over the country." So yeah, outside of Mahomes and Kelce's houses being targeted, Cowboys defensive tackle Linval Joseph's house was burglarized, as well as NBA players like Mike Conley, Bobby Portis, among others that I may have missed, and also others that haven't went public about this. And to further point out the potential validity here, the NFL themselves issued a security alert yesterday to teams regarding these recent burglaries. Whoever is doing this, they seem to be true professionals. They conduct extensive surveillance and never hit a home while someone is there. It's obviously very easy to do with high-profile athletes, though, because you just look at their schedule of games and know when they will be gone. Anyway, that is a pretty crazy development in this story, and if they ever get caught, I will be sure to let you know. All right, next up, the 9-1 Chiefs head to Carolina to take on the 3-7 Panthers. It's been a bumpy ride for the Panthers this season. They got blown out by the Saints and Chargers to start the season before mustering a 36-22 win over the Raiders. And that Week 3 win was after their former 2023 first-round pick, Bryce Young, got benched for the old, trusty veteran Andy Dalton. So he won that game, playing 5 games total for them so far this season, but lost 4 after that one. Yeah, he helped them beat the Raiders, but then lost by multiple scores to the Bengals, Bears, Falcons, and Commanders. After that, Bryce Young was back in action as the starter, going 2-1 in his last 3 games. He lost 28-14 to the Broncos, but then did help the team beat the Saints 23-22. And then most recently, they beat the Giants in overtime, 20-17 in Germany. That game probably should have been won by the Giants, who are going through their own problems and surprisingly released their former first-round pick quarterback Daniel Jones today. Pretty wild. But yes, the Panthers have indeed won back-to-back games for the first time since the 2021 season and are going to be well rested as last weekend was their bye week. Bryce Young will once again be the starter this Sunday, and while Carolina's last 2 games were wins, they beat a 4-7 struggling Saints team by 1, and then the 2-8 Giants by a fluke fumble in overtime. But that being said, this is the NFL. You have to respect your opponents, and you can't just sleepwalk against this team and expect to win for a couple of reasons. They are going to do their damnedest to beat the back-to-back Super Bowl champs. It would honestly be a great morale booster for the entire team and fan base. And then again, these guys are well rested, with the Chiefs coming off a hard-fought loss in Buffalo and once again find themselves on the road in North Carolina. There's more specifics I'll dive into as well regarding this matchup, score prediction, preview, and then we've also got to talk about a left tackle that the Chiefs just signed today. But before I do, one of my favorite things about Thanksgiving is that it means Black Friday is the next day, and that's when you can typically find deals you wouldn't normally be able to. Well, a deal you'll appreciate every day is Raycon's Everyday Earbuds. Not only does Raycon's audio quality rival some of the biggest names in premium audio, but they start at just half the price. So while they are already a steal, things just got even better when you factor in their Black Friday offer of up to 30% 30% off site-wide. Their latest model of the everyday earbuds includes active noise cancellation. I like that for long work hours at my desk while editor Alex works behind me. They also have a 32-hour battery life and even multi-point connectivity that allows me to pair them both to my MacBook and iPhone. So they definitely come in clutch on my walks while I chat through more edits with editor Troy. On top of that, they are available in a variety of vibrant new colors to complement any and all skin tones, and even though I'm a neutral color kind of guy and love the black earbuds, I've also been enjoying this protective case cover that does add a little something color-wise. The protective case also still supports wireless charging, so there's no need to ever take it off. So what are you waiting for? It's time to save big for Black Friday by going to buyraycon.com/Chiefs today to get up to 30% off site-wide. That's right, you'll get up to 30% off everything on Raycon's website when you go to buyraycon.com/Chiefs. All right, from here, I want to share a key reason why the Chiefs are not blowing teams out and have won most of their games by just one score. It's not necessarily because Andy Reid is holding plays back. That's what some think, and sure, maybe he is to an extent, but I believe it's because of turnover differential. Turnover differential is calculated by subtracting the total number of giveaways, that's interceptions and fumbles lost, from the total number of takeaways, interceptions, and opponent fumble recoveries. Well, the Chiefs are not only giving the ball away quite a bit. Mahomes is tied for first in the NFL with 11 interceptions, but then on defense, they aren't getting a lot of takeaways. In spite of that, KC is obviously still managing to win almost every single game and are only one of two teams that have a negative turnover differential to have a winning record. Believe it or not, the Chiefs and Panthers both have a -5 turnover differential, yet the Panthers have only won 30% of their games. Meanwhile, the Chiefs have won 90%. And of all teams that have a -5 turnover differential or worse, only the Seahawks, who are 5-5, and the Chiefs have won more than 3 games, which is honestly pretty insane. I mean, look at the top teams and takeaways right now in the NFL. You got the Steelers, Bills, Vikings, and Texans. They all have 20 or more takeaways, whereas the Chiefs only have 9. Then on offense, the Commanders, Chargers, Bills, Bears, Steelers, and Ravens all have less than 10 giveaways. And that is how you can start blowing some of these teams out. You don't turn the ball over, you don't give it away, and then the defense helps give the offense the ball back on more than one occasion. Now, one team that is blowing out seemingly almost every other opponent they play is going to be the Lions. They have only 10 giveaways on the season. 5 of those happened in one recent game against the Texans. They still freaking won that, by the way. And then they have 19 takeaways on defense. So when people ask, why do the Lions blow teams out and the Chiefs don't? Point them to this. Again, it's not the only reason why. Lack of explosive plays is definitely another. The Chiefs do not have a lot of those at all. But I do think this is quite the contributing factor. What this means is, in a perfect world, the Chiefs quit helping their opponents hang around in these games. If you want to blow a team like the Panthers out on Sunday, Mahomes needs to not throw an INT, and the defense needs to come up with a fumble and at least an interception. So please, Chiefs, no turnovers in this game, and how about at least one fumble recovery or INT? Bryce Young has thrown 6 interceptions in 7 games he's played in this season, and 3 of those have happened in the last 3 appearances. Their O-line is pretty decent, though, allowing just 18 sacks on the year, which is one of the best in the league. Meanwhile, the Chiefs' defense only has 19 sacks on the year, which is one of the worst. That's why I can't wait for the return of Charles Omenihu, though it probably won't be until the next week or two when you play back-to-back AFC West opponents. But even without Charles, I'd love to see the front four get home to Bryce Young a few times in this one. George Karlaftis has 35 pressures on the year, and Chris Jones has 46. Yet in spite of that, George only has 4 sacks, and Chris Jones only has 3. If the Chiefs go up early in this game, the Panthers will be forced to rely more on the pass game, and they could have their veteran wideout Adam Thielen back for this one. Maybe. He hasn't played since September with a hamstring injury, is back on the roster from IR, has been a limited participant, though, in practice. We'll take a look at the final injury report later in this video. But if Adam Thielen does not play, that means it's going to be up to the young guys, all rookies, Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker, and tight end Jatavion Sanders. They're going to be the main targets for Bryce Young once again, and I'm sure Bryce will look to target anyone out there on the field who isn't being covered by Trent McDuffie, based on what he saw the Bills do last week especially. Thankfully, though, this is far from the Bills' offense. In fact, it's really not even close. The Panthers have the third worst scoring offense, averaging only 16.7 points per game. They are 29th on third downs and 31st on fourth down, 24th in rushing yards per game, and 31st in passing yards per game. However, their definite strength on offense, if you want to give them one here, is going to be their run game. Chuba Hubbard, he's a dog. He's got over 800 yards on the season and is averaging over 5 yards a carry. And while Miles Sanders, one of their other running backs, probably won't play this week due to an ankle injury, foot injury sustained in the Germany game, they should have their rookie second-round pick Jonathan Brooks make his debut. One bright spot on the Panthers offense, and part of the reason why the run game has been successful, is their O-line. They're helping these backs rush for 4.6 yards per carry on the season, which is 10th best. Thankfully, the Chiefs' defense against the run is the third best in the league, so I'm not super worried about that. And all in all, I'm going to predict an impressive bounce-back game for the defense in this one. Again, this is not the Buffalo Bills offense. This is not Josh Allen. It is a team here in the NFL that you have to take serious, but I think the defense is going to have their way, and the Carolina Panthers offense is going to be in trouble. On the other side of the ball, the Panthers defense, they're struggling as well. They've allowed the most points per game in the league at 31 a pop, are the worst third down defense, 27th in the red zone, allow the most rushing yards per game, and are 24th in passing yards allowed per game. On top of that, Carolina also struggles getting home to the QB. They do have Jadeveon Clowney and A'Shawn Robinson, so you got to keep tabs on them. But even with those guys, Carolina only has 12 sacks on the year, which is the second fewest in the league. And if that wasn't enough, they give up an average of 60 yards a game to tight ends. Hello, Travis Kelce. So that's why I feel like this is a big mismatch on both sides of the football, and why I think the Chiefs win this one something like 31-13. Most people that are of sound minds are also picking the Chiefs to win, and all they need to do to accomplish this is just play a clean game, get their tight ends involved. If Kelce's getting covered, you've got Noah Gray. You have DeAndre Hopkins getting more up to speed. Juju Smith-Schuster is a great QB-friendly receiver for Mahomes. There's a lot of options, and then try a couple more deep shots to Worthy to keep the secondary honest, and proceed to run the piss out of the football. Again, the Panthers are giving up the most rushing yards per game of any team in the league, so feed Kareem and maybe even Carson Steele. If the Chiefs go up early enough in this game, we might in fact see Kareem Hunt's workload go down a bit and Steele get plenty of work in this one. I don't think Pacheco is going to play this week, and that's fine. Give him another week to rest before they have back-to-back AFC West games. Now, something I do want to mention is that the Chiefs have struggled in pass pro at times, with Mahomes getting sacked 10 times in the last 3 games. And while I'm not overly concerned about this upcoming game on Sunday against the Panthers pass rush, many around the kingdom are concerned about the O-line when going up against teams that have elite or much better pass rushers. Wanye has given up the most pressures along the line, but I think many forgot that Donovan Smith also gave up a ton of pressures last year as well, and he even spent like 4 games on the sideline due to injury. Then if you compare Wanye's stats this year to Donovan's, they're pretty comparable. Then Jawan Taylor is doing a pretty good job on the right side when not drawing flags. He's actually a pretty above average right tackle when they aren't throwing flags at him. My main concern is actually going to be the depth of the tackle spot, not necessarily Wanye himself, but what happens if Wanye Morris goes down. Kingsley is basically not playable at this point in time. I mean, we've seen him get worked out there pretty badly and was inactive last week. That trend may, in fact, continue. Then as of right now, that means the undrafted rookie, Ethan Driscoll, is the next man up at the tackle spot, but we have no clue how he's going to look out there in an actual NFL game, and depth is very important in the trenches. See Super Bowl 55 against the Bucs in case you forgot, and that's why if Kansas City doesn't go out and get somebody like Donovan Smith, maybe they should try and grab another veteran in the 30-year-old DJ Humphries. Humphries is the former left tackle of the Cardinals who just got cleared to return to football after recovering from an ACL tear late last year. Humphries is a former first-round pick in the 2015 NFL Draft, has started almost like 100 games, tons of experience, and if the Chiefs think his knee is not a concern, they really should try to find a way to sign this man to the roster. Sure, they don't have a ton of cap space right now, but find a way to make it work. He allowed just 28 pressures and 4 sacks last year, which is nearly half of the pressures Donovan Smith allowed, again, even with missing 4 games. The Cardinals have a completely different style offense and all that. I get it. But Humphries is a former Pro Bowler, and if you can find a way to get him on the team ASAP, that would be ideal, yes, but he would then also be ready and probably fully up to speed with the offense, the ins and outs, the caveats. By the playoffs, his former teammate Justin Pugh, longtime tackle in the NFL, he played alongside Humphries in Arizona for years. He tweeted out this today: "I predict Humphries to go to the Chiefs. Makes too much sense." Well, right before I was going to export this video, it looks like the Chiefs also thought this was going to make too much sense because Jordan Schultz was on it first. He reported that free agent offensive tackle DJ Humphries is signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. He is proven and a versatile starter who can help Kansas City down the stretch. He's compiled 98 career starts and earned Pro Bowl honors in 2021 with Arizona. Ian Rappaport said DJ Humphries, now healthy, is signing with the Chiefs to provide depth and potentially more. So there you have it. This is a fantastic signing. I'm so glad that Brett Veach and company got this done. You need depth at the left tackle spot. Let's say DJ Humphries is not even going to be the starter for now. Wanye's fine, but when he goes down, you need somebody that can step in and provide some valuable protection for the blind side of Patrick Mahomes, and that is what you are getting in DJ Humphries. And who knows, as the weeks go by, maybe he even overtakes Wanye Morris. And this is officially a 1-year deal per Ian Rappaport. 1-year deal, $2 million with a max of $4.5 million for the rest of the season. Big money this time of the year. I mean, obviously, yeah, the Chiefs need it. People were wondering how they were going to make this work with their cap situation, but they're going to get it figured out. If they need to restructure somebody or do something, they'll figure it out. They'll make it work. But there you go. 1-year deal that pays him $2 million with a max value of up to $4.5 million. I'm going to assume with some incentives built in there. And I found this interesting. Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest said that the Chiefs have been monitoring his progress for about a month, waiting for him to be cleared medically, and the team currently has a open spot on the 53-man roster. So that's a spot we thought would be for maybe Isaiah Pacheco or Charles Omenihu when they brought them back from their windows to return. But no, it is gonna be offensive tackle DJ Humphries, and that's just interesting. They've been monitoring him for a month. So as we've been clamoring for them to sign Donovan Smith, they had other plans in mind, and what that's going to do is give you depth, because we all remember Super Bowl 55. So we need it. We got it. The Chiefs got it done, adding some valuable depth to the Chiefs O-line, particularly at the tackle spot. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below. And before I get out of here real quick, the injury report for the Chiefs and the Panthers, it's pretty simple. I did want to take a look at it. You have just 2 players ruled out for the Chiefs: Isaiah Pacheco, Charles Omenihu. Their second week back within their return window. They're not on the roster yet. Limited participant all last week, and this week they are ruled out. So we will probably see them in some capacity next week against the Raiders on Black Friday. Then the only ones to really look at with the Panthers, Jadeveon Clowney, one of their more effective pass rushers. He's questionable with a knee. I will say wide receiver Adam Thielen, he's questionable, listed as questionable, but head coach Dave Canales of the Panthers said he's going to be playing, as is the new running back, the newly activated running back making his debut, Jonathan Brooks, and that's good for them because Miles Sanders, running back number 2, 1-2 punch combo with Chuba Hubbard, is going to be ruled out. Those are the main things. There's a lot of other people questionable, including their kicker, Eddie Pinheiro, the most accurate kicker in the NFL after Justin Tucker kind of has fallen off recently. But he should be playing as well. So let me know your thoughts on that and this signing in the comments down below. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?